saying a great deal, but still, it is 4 matches unbeaten. There is the whistle from Anthony Taylor. You're listening to the usual backdrop from the West Ham supporters. The bubbles are still being spewed out of the machines on the side of the pitch, either side of the tunnel. And it is West Ham in the claret and blue shirts, white shorts, white socks, against Liverpool, who are in their all black away kit with the white numbers. The chorus comes to an end, huge cheer from the home supporters, and I'm delighted to say that, yes, it is that great servant of Southampton, Francis Benali, who's sitting alongside for the first time for a commentary match. Franny, so you're very welcome on us with 5 Live.
Thank you, John. Really looking forward to this one and working with you as well. And I think we could be in for a real cracker here today, couldn't we? You're talking about the records of the two sides. Liverpool, the dominance that they've shown throughout the Premier League so far this season. And West Ham on that unbeaten 4-match run as well. Will want to add to that decent run of late.
Yep, both teams won on Boxing Day against teams who are in the bottom 3. So West Ham won at Franny's old club Southampton. Liverpool had that home win against Leicester. Run you through the teams again when we get a chance, but West Ham are on the attack, playing from left to right, so that's towards the end where all of the Liverpool's supporters are warmly wrapped up on what is a cold afternoon here. It's been grey and grim all day, misty and murky in amongst the tower blocks of East London, and it is West Ham with Kudus on the right, but he's offside. So a free kick to Liverpool, and these are the teams. So West Ham, and big losses today. There's no Souček, no Rodriguez, they're both suspended, and Fabianski is out with the head injury that he suffered at Southampton. So Areola's come in goal. Fulkrug is on the bench for this one. So the West Ham team, Areola, as I say, is their goalkeeper. And then it is a back 4 with Solfal coming in at right back, Wan-Bissaka's at left back, Mavropanos and Kilman in central defence. So Kilman and Soler are fit, they were big doubts. And then it's a 5-man midfield with Alvarez, the Mexican, and Soler. Then Kudus on the right, Emerson on the left, and Paquetá back from suspension for this one, with the captain and West Ham's leading goalkeeper Jared Bowen playing as the central striker, as I say, with Fulkrug back on the bench. And Liverpool, they're also without a man. Szoboszlai is suspended. But Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson. Then Gravenberch with Jones and McAllister. Salah, Gakpo, either side of Luis Diaz. So Luis Diaz, who was rested for Boxing Day, comes back in for this one with Darwin Núñez back among the substitutes. West Ham 0, Liverpool 0. I hope you haven't been caught out by the 5:15 kickoff this afternoon. And on what's been a really busy day, I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of people getting back into the cars, probably turning the heating right up as we watch Liverpool on the attack, with Robertson playing it down the left-hand side to Gakpo, who's in very good goal-scoring form. Most of these Liverpool players are in good form. Here's one who's banging form, has been all season. Gravenberch, the number 38. Then to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Lots of talk about his future. And now the ball in on the right-hand side with Salah, but he turns back and in nips Wan-Bissaka, but he's lost possession. Ball into the West Ham box. Solfal is there to clear it away back towards the halfway line, and then winning it well, Carlos Soler. I think there were quite big questions about whether they would be fit, Soler and Kilman, but whatever the issues and however serious they were, as Curtis Jones just goes in and puts in a challenge on Mavropanos down in the right-back position, just mistimed it really, came in at pace, felled him. It's a free kick, no more than that. So I think Franny will only tell in the fullness of time about what the level of Kilman and Soler's fitness is.
Yeah, no, there'll be definite pluses, John, as you mentioned, sort of getting into the starting lineup, given that there were serious doubts about them. But that reshuffled back 4 of West Ham's that you've mentioned, with Wan-Bissaka switching across to the left, they're going to have to be at their best today up against this Liverpool attack. There's no Darwin Núñez today, but Luis Diaz coming in is more than a capable replacement, and the goals between them, they're going to have to be concentrating the full 90-plus minutes. Can't afford any errors or slip-ups, because we know how dangerous this Liverpool side are.
Yeah, Mo Salah, the Premier League's top scorer this season, 19 in all competitions. And I know that Haaland scored earlier today, so he's inched a little bit closer to him, but the point is, as Franny says, you've now got 3 Liverpool players in double figures this season in all competitions, with Diaz on 11 and Gakpo on 10. Liverpool winning the ball back centre field. Emerson put in the challenge, but Liverpool have got it back in their own half, and Van Dijk is in possession. Mention the fact that so many players for Liverpool are in good form, but Robertson perhaps isn't one of them, and Robertson's been dispossessed by Bowen, and Bowen's ball across to the back post and sliding in. Paquetá, he slid after it feet first and could only scoop it well wide, but Kudus was in the middle, Paquetá was arriving, but Bowen, his delivery wasn't converted.
Well, that certainly gives the home supporters some hope, doesn't it, and the West Ham faithful as well. And it was Robertson that made that mistake. They were under no pressure whatsoever in the middle of the pitch, received the ball from Van Dijk, and then it was pinched from him by Bowen. Bowen races forward, his ball across the box, just couldn't find Paquetá. But that's just an alarm bells for Liverpool.
I think he just slipped as well, didn't he, Paquetá, as he was arriving. He was looking to stretch for it feet first, but slipped and therefore didn't get the contact. Here's Gakpo cutting in from the left-hand side, slips the ball right across. Salah with a chance, oh, what a save! What a save by Areola! Brilliant pass from Gakpo. That was right where Salah wanted it. 6-7 yards out. It looked certain he would score. And Areola coming into the team, coming back into the West Ham side, pulled off a terrific save.
Well, as soon as Gakpo cut in, you just think the ball, as soon as he's played it across to Salah, your immediate gut instinct is that it's going to be a goal. A player of Salah's quality in that kind of position, the way he was set up, it must have been a goal for Liverpool, but what a save from Areola.
I mean, he was only, what, 4-5 yards away, and he went to lift it over him, and Areola, who had already gone down, threw his arms up and made great contact to deflect it up and over the crossbar. That, I think, will go well to say a save as good as that today. And it's promising for the match with 6 minutes played, early chances at both ends. But here's the corner for Liverpool, which is headed up and over the top of the crossbar. It was in amongst a whole gaggle of players. It's Van Dijk in there for Liverpool, but there were a couple of defenders. Sofal was in there, but it came off the Liverpool man's head, and it's a goal kick. But they're showing us again here this save from Areola from Salah.
You could, if you were being critical of Salah a little bit, you know, he's done pretty much everything but put the ball in the back of the net, but maybe shooting across might have been better.
There was a poor ball infield from Wan-Bissaka. Now McAllister, Salah across the face of goal, and Gakpo, who was jumping for it, couldn't get contact, and it flashed past him. He was 2 yards out, but the cross from Salah couldn't pick him out, and therefore it's a goal kick. And West Ham now are very fortunate not to be behind.
They certainly are. Liverpool having two wonderful chances in the matter of a minute or so, and it was reversed this time. It was the ball played in from McAllister into Salah. He's not shooting, I don't think. He's looking to pick out Cody Gakpo on the far post, but it's just whistles past him. He's unable to get that crucial touch right at the far post, but that is two very good opportunities for Liverpool in the last minute.
Any contact there from Gakpo,
it's a goal,
and that was in the back of the net. So they are two, well, I call them let-offs. I think you have to give Areola great credit for the save from the first one. He'll as Gakpo gets his shirt pulled.
The save will certainly give Areola a huge confidence boost, won't it? You know, coming on in the middle of a game is never easy for goalkeepers. When he did that last week at Southampton, and then that belief and confidence, especially for his outfield players as well. Seeing your goalkeeper hasn't regularly played come in, make a save like that in the early stages was outstanding. Yeah, Areola, a goalkeeper of great experience, but not started since October. Robertson now for Liverpool on the left-hand side, received the ball from the pass from McAllister. His cross though hit the first defender, bounced behind. It's another corner for Liverpool, who've started well. I saw them last Sunday, Franny, in that remarkable game at Tottenham, the 6-3 match. I thought they were excellent in the first half there, and they have since won, as I mentioned, against Leicester at Anfield on Boxing Day. And here now they have started in the same vein. They are full of confidence, and this corner from the left-hand side, it's going to be taken in by McAllister. Here is the delivery to the near post, and it's headed down and wide of the near post. Defender got to it, Mavropanos, I think, or did it then hit a Liverpool man? I think it did, Gomez, and bounced behind, and it's a goal kick that's given, and it is still West Ham 0, Liverpool 0, and this is Franny Benali. Yeah, and we were only just talking pre-match before we come on air, weren't we? about how Joe Gomez hasn't got that goal, that senior goal, and I know what it feels like to only score one and not be a real goal scorer through your career. So he was a little bit close, he was in the mix, but coming up for set pieces like that, he's always in with a chance with the quality of the deliveries that Liverpool can put into the 6-yard box.
Yes, all those years at Southampton that you had, just the one solitary goal, although you were saying that you used to bang them in as a young player, as a youth player, you're a regular goal scorer.
Yeah, I think they all dried up in my youth team days, I think, John.
Yes, used them all up early. Well, I remember commentating on you at the Dell many years ago. It's funny how things work out, isn't it? Here we are now sitting together in 2024. Long ball forward for West Ham from the back, but that's harmless. It's got to be better than that from West Ham.
Yeah, it certainly has, John. And you mentioned that, how fast and how good Liverpool are at starting games and racing into some leads. That's quite the opposite from West Ham. They're not the quickest of starters, scoring a lot of their goals in the second half. So they've got to be right on their game, from the first moment.
Long ball forward from Gomez, but that's dealt with at the back by Tofal, who puts it out for a throw-in. Yeah, some West Ham supporters will tell you that they've not been the greatest of finishers, and also sometimes not been the greatest in the middle either. But as we've said, there is time and hope for improvement with this little unbeaten run that they're on, West Ham. And if they're able to get something here, take something from the leaders, then you would think that would give them further confidence to take into the new year. Next for them, it's Manchester City away, with City having recovered a bit of confidence today with that win, although I did see quite a bit of that earlier, and Leicester certainly had their chances in that match, but it finished Leicester 0, Manchester City 2, as Van Dijk with one of those trademark long passes from him from centre field. Salah's onto this, running at Wan-Bissaka, outside of his left boot. Areola got a hand to it, which took it away from Gakpo. He's still in the penalty area on the left-hand side, back to Robertson. A high cross swirling in towards the back post. Salah gets there, brings the ball down, left-footed from him into the area, but straight through to Areola, who's able to drop forward onto it. The threat is so obvious, isn't it?
It's clear to see, isn't it? And what a wonderful pass from Van Dijk. As you say, it's good sort of 40-yard plus diagonal right to the feet of Mo Salah, and that enabled him by that quick switch to have a 1v1 versus Wan-Bissaka, and that's what they'll be trying to do, isolating him 1-for-1, and he can either do the magic himself or try and pick out one of his teammates.
So it's 0-0, West Ham 0, Liverpool 0. This is 5 Live. If you're on the move tonight, if you're taking the dog for the walk, then we're also available, 5 Live, you can listen to on the move via BBC Sounds, as West Ham do get the ball now, and it's played forward for the run of Wan-Bissaka up from left back, but played beyond him by Paquetá, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool. Yes, the other scores earlier in the Premier League, Crystal Palace getting a 2-1 win against Southampton. In our earlier commentary match, Nottingham Forest winning 2-0 at Goodison Park against Everton, so Forest fans will doubtless be taking screenshots of the Premier League table right now, because Nottingham Forest are second. They are currently Liverpool's closest pursuers. Also Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2, and Tottenham 2, Wolves 2 in what sounded like an entertaining game. And Sheffield United back top of the Championship after their 1-1 draw with West Brom. We will keep you updated on Derby against Leeds, which kicks off at 5:45. Burnley are playing tonight at Middlesbrough, as West Ham have the ball in their own left-back position. It's cleared away and Liverpool back in possession. Also Celtic now 14 points clear at the top of the table after their big win 4-0 against the bottom club St Johnstone. Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0 is currently underway. That, like this, was a 5:15 kickoff, so regular updates on what's happening there at Tannadice. Here is Luis Diaz now. Luis Diaz halfway inside the West Ham half. This attack breaks down for Liverpool, so West Ham have got it back. Jared Bowen runs into trouble, runs into 3 Liverpool players, but very cleverly actually draws the foul from McAllister, and it's a free kick to West Ham inside their own half. He's been so important, Bowen, for West Ham this season.
Yeah, he certainly has, John, hasn't he? And the Liverpool players recognising that, I think, you know, before he can get into his stride and jink past any more of the players, they've drawn the foul and taken it in the West Ham's own half, and that's a better place to be given a free kick away rather than letting them get away and potentially sort of break through the lines.
So it is still goalless after the early Liverpool chances, and that one as well for West Ham that Paquetá had, we won't forget. Alexander-Arnold, first time pass into the path beautifully of Salah. Salah now running at the West Ham defence, ball through into the penalty area for Jones, and Areola comes out. There's a defender there as well, but Areola stood up this time and made the block near the corner of the 6-yard area. Jones is still persistent down there, the ball on the white line, it hasn't crossed the white line, and so is chipped away to comparative safety, and West Ham are going to be able to move it away with Wan-Bissaka, who takes it infield and then rides the challenge from Luis Diaz and then pulls it back. That's excellent play, relieving the pressure, and then forward from Paquetá, but Kudus is adjudged to have fouled Robertson. The free kick had already gone, even though Kudus was running away. There was cover there as well for Liverpool, but a free kick, and the boos from the home supporters.
Yeah, and they're telling you how they feel about it. It'd be interesting to see what this one again. There's a bit of contact from Kudus on Robertson's back, but it's pretty minimal. It was the assistant referee on the touchline was quick to flag, but moments before that chance for Curtis Jones, another good save by Areola.
Liverpool come again. Gakpo looking for Robertson, left side of the box, back to Gakpo. He stabs it back outside of the penalty area, where it's turned now by McAllister. Back to Robertson, low ball into the edge of the 6-yard box. Mavropanos gets his leg to it and hikes it away over the top of the near post and behind for another corner to Liverpool. The proverbial sea of faces in the stands behind the goal that West Ham are defending. McAllister's going to come across to take this. Very often we'd see Trent Alexander-Arnold, wouldn't we, with a left-sided corner, but in actual fact Alexander-Arnold's in a position on the edge of the box, and again it's McAllister who's going to take this left-sided corner, just placing the ball in the quadrant, the Argentine World Cup winner. And Liverpool doing what you might call an Arsenal, all of the players gathered beyond the far post and then making the run into the 6-yard area. In comes the delivery, that's headed away for West Ham by Mavropanos. Liverpool in possession again though. Gravenberch in towards the edge of the box, shot on the turn from Gakpo, but the defender was there with him and he hit it wide of the top left corner and into all of those spectators that I was mentioning. So it remains 0-0, but another chance comes and goes for Liverpool.
Certainly does, and I guess unexpectedly in some ways, given now the two teams have performed so far this season, you would expect Liverpool to be coming here and starting fast. Areola making a couple of great saves as well, doing very well, and we spoke about how the back four have got to perform, but I think it's crucial how Paquetá and Kudus have got to help out on the defensive side. Whenever Liverpool are in possession, they've got to get in the right positions, do their bit defensively as well, make it a real team effort to keep Liverpool out.
Kudus did well there centre field, but Alvarez was dispossessed, and now Liverpool again come forward inside the West half. That's where the match, West Ham half, that's where the match has been played for the most part so far. Here is the impressive Curtis Jones, goes infield, then turns, passes it back to Luis Diaz, who just for the time being has taken up a position on the left-hand side. The Liverpool fans now begin to make themselves heard. Always popular fixtures. Well, it's popular wherever Liverpool go, but a big fan base in the southeast. So this is one of the fixtures that their supporters down in this part of the world will very much look to. And it is Liverpool knocking it around inside West Ham territory. It is still 0-0, but Areola has already made, well, one very good and another couple of saves, and now McAllister's ball over the top for Salah. Diaz just got his head to it, and then it was headed away for West Ham. Again, the threat is there, and West Ham trying to relieve the pressure. Kudus is forced to concede a throw-in, and Gakpo is going to take this 15 yards inside the West Ham half. There is Arne Slot, the shaven-headed Arne Slot, the bright West Ham floodlights in their triangular pylons are shining down onto his head as Jones puts a challenge in on Paquetá, and referee Anthony Taylor does not give that as a free kick, which has drawn the reaction that you've heard. And then that's a collector's item. A poor touch from Salah on the foot, miscontrolled it, took his eye off the ball.
Did you really see that?
I don't know. I think it must have been a Christmas figment of my imagination. West Ham coming forward, ball across, headed down and away by Van Dijk, and he's found Alexander-Arnold, who's given it away. He's given it straight to Wan-Bissaka. So West Ham do now have it in the Liverpool half. Wan-Bissaka up towards the edge of the penalty area. Emerson's over there on the left-hand side, comes back infield for West Ham. Paquetá picks out Emerson again. He's got Gravenberch there with him. Emerson then back to Paquetá, scoops the ball into the box, but across comes Joe Gomez to head it out back to the far side. Emerson's there again. Wan-Bissaka as well. This is nice from West Ham. Heavy touch though by Emerson in the area when it was played into him, and that meant that Liverpool could clear it all the way downfield. Alexander-Arnold, and West Ham can start again. But there's the encouragement for West Ham.
It certainly is, and you hear the home support, how that's lifted them as well. A mistake from Trent Alexander-Arnold initially, giving the ball to Wan-Bissaka, and that enabled West Ham to sustain that attack for a while, and they've got to maximise these opportunities whenever there is that turnover of the ball. West
Ham 0, Liverpool 0. West Ham, who in the main in recent years have had a terrible record against Liverpool. They've won one of their last 18, but I remember I was here for it. It was the 3-2 win back in the November of 2021 when Alisson had a day to forget, one of his rare days to forget. Long ball forward from Alexander-Arnold, but that also a bit of a collector's item. Overhit from Alexander-Arnold, bounces all of the way through for a goal kick. With lots and lots of talk, Franny, over the course of the last 24 hours. I know that the Spanish broadcasters, the Spanish media operation Marca, have suggested that will be his destination, Madrid and Real Madrid, and he's out of contract, of course, at the end of the season from January. You know, things change, don't they, for him and for Salah and for Van Dijk, as Mavropanos now at the back plays it out towards the far side. A contact of mine in Spain said to me today that Real Madrid are very, very positive that Alexander-Arnold will be a Real Madrid player next season, but in the end it's down to the player, isn't it?
Of course, yeah, that's a huge part of it, and I guess, you know, if it's going to be a move onto a club to sort of look at progressing a career, it's got to be almost like one or two clubs in the world, isn't it? So Real Madrid are certainly viewed as that, and given being an overseas club as well, obviously those discussions could sort of start taking place in the new year.
Yep, and that's only a couple of days away, as the ball's given away by Soler, and now Diaz takes it into the West Ham penalty area and shoots goalwards, and Areola, it was heading probably just over his head, and he sort of went for it with the uppercut, the sort of flat uppercut save that took it away beyond the top corner and out for another Liverpool corner.
Yeah, it was a good save again from Areola, but those are the kind of mistakes, the loss of possession in the midfield area, that West Ham have got to try and eliminate from their game, because it just creates pressure and puts your goalkeeper under that bit of pressure as well. But as you say, you see players cut back in onto that inside foot. The shot was pretty much straight at Areola, and one you'd expect him to make, but it's yet another corner for Liverpool.
Yeah, Luis Diaz scored a couple of the goals, 2 of the 6 at Tottenham last Sunday afternoon. But if West Ham keep losing possession like that, eventually you know what comes next. Here's the latest corner into the near post, which is headed up and wide of the top corner by Diaz. There's a defender there with him, couldn't deflect it on target. So it is still West Ham 0, Liverpool 0.
It's interesting, John, isn't it? You know, any opposition manager coming up against Arne Slot's Liverpool is, how do you set up against them? Do you sit back and just, a little bit like West Ham are this afternoon, they're looking to just keep their shape, not really looking to pressurise the Liverpool players high up the pitch, or do you flip that and try and press them high up the pitch and potentially get picked off? And at the moment, you know, if you're going to make those little mistakes, as we've seen a few balls just going astray, they will pick out that pass in the final third, Liverpool. They've got that quality, they've got that confidence. They've just got to try and eliminate those little errors at the moment, West Ham.
West Ham 0, Liverpool 0. Van Dijk now on the halfway line again, lifts the ball forward, probably 40-50 yards for Salah. Kilman comes out to him. Wan-Bissaka's there as well. Liverpool still in possession on the far side. Then in comes the challenge to put it out of play for a throw into Liverpool closer to the halfway line. I think the West Ham supporters here, you know, very aware of the form that Liverpool are in. Just the one defeat in all of the matches, all of the 26 matches that they've played in all competitions under Arne Slot this season, and with now this clear lead, they will be the leaders of the Premier League into 2025. Top of the Champions League group, and Carabao Cup semi-finalists.
Yeah, so impressive, aren't they? But that one defeat coming against the team that are actually second in the table now, as you mentioned earlier, John. Nottingham Forest.
Yes, back in September. You know, if that happened now, it would be less of the shock that it was at the time. As West Ham have it in their own defensive third. Kilman is able to play it away, possibly playing through the pain barrier. Kilman, he's got an excellent record, hasn't he, in terms of playing consistently. Salah now ball in from the right-hand side, took a deflection. West Ham are able to clear it out of play. Wan-Bissaka won't reach that, so it's a throw into Liverpool. Just next to the corner flag, Salah quickly off the field. As I say, 19 goals, so he's just one away from reaching the landmark of 20, which he's done in every season that he's been a Liverpool player. 44, his best in his very first season, but every single season he's got to 20 and beyond. Here is Van Dijk. Van Dijk now rolls a pass with his right foot to Gakpo, who's almost on the white line, looks for a 1-2, but that doesn't come off. The return pass from Robertson just trundles away through for a goal kick, and it remains West Ham 0, Liverpool 0.
Again, something you don't see too often from the Liverpool players, just that little misunderstanding between Gakpo and Robertson. Gakpo playing the ball in and looking to come inside to receive the return pass, and Robertson thinking he was going to make a little 1-2 diagonal run in behind, but it gives West Ham an opportunity to play their way back out.
Which they do, playing it out from the goal kick, downfield towards the halfway line, and then all the way back to Alisson, who's barely had a touch of the ball in these first, well, it's nearly half an hour. That one early chance for Paquetá, and then he just here clears it downfield, and the black shirts of Liverpool are back in possession, but Curtis Jones surrounded by claret and blue. That was a lovely flick infield to take it away back to Luis Diaz, but the hard-working West Ham, here's Kudus, comes out with the ball, still inside his own half, then shrugs off the challenge of Gakpo. That's all they're looking for, the West Ham supporters. They don't need much encouragement. Now Wan-Bissaka forward towards Emerson, but just overhit, and therefore Joe Gomez is just going to allow it, or at least that's what he wanted. He wanted to allow it to roll over the line, but I think Emerson behind him cleverly just got his toe through to poke it onto Gomez, took the deflection. It's a corner to West Ham there first.
Well, it certainly is, and from Gomez's reaction, he can't believe that it's getting an opportunity to see it again, and it is. It's a goal kick. I think it's an error by the referee, Anthony Taylor.
Yes, it is. We know that. They don't know that yet. But it's a corner to West Ham. So Liverpool going to be put under pressure here for the first time from a set piece like this. And it comes to Alisson, who's able to punch it away. Got two hands to it in amongst a crowd of players. Comes out to Jared Bowen. Bowen twisting, then onto his right foot with the cross, but that's cleared away, headed away for Liverpool by Gravenberch on the corner of the 6-yard box. Comes to West Ham again on the right-hand side. Kudus, no, he's hit his own man so foul with the pass. Hit him on the backside. He was just beyond McAllister, and it hit so foul and bounced all the way through for a goal kick.
A little bit different from that first brilliant piece of skill that we saw Kudus do on the halfway line. He's surrounded by Liverpool players, jinked his way past 3 or 4 and spread the play, and as you mentioned, John, that brought the home crowd to life, didn't it? Just getting that reaction, a little bit of skillful play, but it's better from West Ham.
It is West Ham 0, Liverpool 0. West Ham have had good days under Lopetegui. They've been quite few and far between, but beat Manchester United here, remember, with a late goal. Probably their best performance, I think, was the 2-0 win at Newcastle. You know, looking where Newcastle are now, that a very good result. Had a big win against Ipswich here. But if they're able to win today, that would be the biggest of the lot for Julen Lopetegui. They're a long way short of that, though. Liverpool could easily be comfortably ahead in this match, but it is still goalless. Alexander-Arnold now, over there to the right-hand side, down the flank, into the full-back position to Salah. Back to Alexander-Arnold, in comes the cross, but headed away by Kilman, who got up well, right onto his forehead. Back to Alexander-Arnold, once more, short pass to Gravenberch, and then Alexander-Arnold takes it over again. Left-footed ball forward to Diaz. Diaz tugs it away from Kudus. Tried to find the ball through, bounce back to Diaz. There's the chance. There's the goal. Round about the penalty spot, right foot. Luis Diaz buries it into the bottom left corner, and Liverpool are in front, just short of the half hour. West Ham 0, Liverpool 1. It had been coming.
It certainly had, John. No surprise to see the visitors take the lead. They've had a number of chances. Ariola's made a number of saves, but they get a little bit fortunate on this one. Diaz picking the ball up in between the lines. His initial pass takes a deflection off one of the West Ham players, and he gets it back. I think it comes off of Mavropanos, and then it drops to him almost just off centre of the goal, inside, in and around the penalty spot, and he just slides it past Areola. There's going to be no doubt what the outcome was in that position.
Yeah, I think it was possibly a double deflection, wasn't it, of two West Ham defenders. As he ran at the West Ham defence, I think Mavropanos dived in, took a flick off him, hit Solfal, but then fell perfectly for him, probably 12, 13 yards out, and he wasn't going to miss that. Chances that Liverpool have had. So 2 goals last Sunday. He had a rest on Boxing Day, Luis Diaz, and now he's come back with another goal. So that is 12 for the season, 8 in the Premier League, and Liverpool are in the goals again. The top scorers this morning, 40 goals in the Premier League. There we are, number 41. And when Liverpool have been in front this season, and this is the 19th match this season in all competitions when they've scored first. In the previous 18, they've gone on to win all of them. But he has Bourne inside the penalty area, pulled the ball down, and as Van Dijk came across, Bourne was pulling the ball down, and he's judged to have fouled Van Dijk, who went down. And it's a free kick to Liverpool inside their own penalty area.
And Van Dijk still on the turf. He's taking his time coming to his feet, and it was a wonderful touch, I think, initially from Bowen. And I think he's just trying to flick the ball across the 6-yard box without really knowing that Virgil van Dijk was stepping in to make a challenge. There's a little bit of contact there. I think it's just one of those painful ones where the 2 boots connect. The boots nowadays are very, very thin, aren't they? When you get studs on the top of those, it can be a little bit of a painful one. But the home supporters are certainly unhappy with the decision from Anthony Taylor yet again.
Yeah, it's as you say, it was a brilliant first touch from Bowen inside the penalty area. But as he tried then to flick it infield, I think he did make contact with the toe, the boot of Van Dijk, who's okay, he's all right, he's back on his feet, and play is back underway with the score: West Ham 0, Liverpool 1, and Luis Diaz shooting Liverpool in front. But West Ham are on the move here with Paquetá outside of his boot. Oh no, he's got that all wrong. He tried to play the pass through Paquetá. He apologises now for the run that came from Emerson, but tried to curl it with the outside of his boot. But he actually got it all wrong and just played straight through to Alisson. It's like a back pass.
It was when those ones come off, they look fantastic, don't they? But they've won it yet again, West Ham. Oh, in the end, it's a turnover of possession. They could be in trouble.
Wan-Bissaka then gave it away, passed it straight back to Curtis Jones. Here is the goal scorer, Luis Diaz. Now on the left-hand side, Luis Diaz, all energy. Jones now, curling shot from Jones from 23 yards, given the angle on the left-hand side, but a comfortable take for Areola to gather into his body.
Yeah, most definitely. That'd be one of the more comfortable saves he'll make today. He'll hope he won't be needed as much as he has been already in this opening 33 minutes.
They're just carrying on, Liverpool, aren't they? From the performances that they have built over the course of recent weeks, having won their last 4 matches, 22 unbeaten in all competitions since that Nottingham Forest match at Anfield, and they do look relentless. I know we're still in deep mid-winter, we're not into January yet, and also this is their 8th match of December. They play another 8 next month. They've got the 2 legs of the Cup semi-final against Tottenham, but that's not a serious list of injuries that they've got at the moment. Bradley's out, and Konate as well, who's not far away from coming back. But West Ham now coming forward, and it's played forward centrally by Kilman, who took it all the way up the left-hand side. Then it comes back centrally, ball out to the right-hand side. Kudus backs away. Kudus brings that down brilliantly. Lovely touch from him. Here's the cross to the near post. Glancing header across goal from Paquetá, but he was stooping for it, just got a glance across goal, and Alisson very coolly just stood his ground and caught it, just clutched it out of the air.
It's a Beautiful piece of skill, his first touch, and you thought he was going to deliver it a little bit earlier than what he did, but it was just slightly delayed. The players making the run into the box, Paquetá unable to get the final touch, and we've got Joe Gomez sat on the turf, so he's clearly got an injury problem by the looks of it.
Yeah, Gomez, who was sat down on the far side, so we've not yet had a restart of play. You see that it's interesting this in terms of leadership. Alisson straight out of the penalty area, he's in discussions with Jones and Gravenberch, so the Liverpool goalkeeper has obviously spotted something. But what the problem is with Gomez is unclear. You know, this was well away from the action. He's actually way over there on the far side in the right-back position, and the medical people are on to give him some treatment. Julian Lopetegui here without a coat is down on the side of the pitch, which is a bold move on a cold London afternoon, but he's gathered 4 or 5 West Ham players round. Instructions being given out by the West Ham head coach. West Ham 0, Liverpool 1. They are now underway in Derby in the Championship, the 5:45 kickoff. The former leaders, as they are now, that you're watching, Chris Coles.
Indeed, if they avoid defeat, they will return to the top of the Championship. Will Leeds United 0-0 at Derby, but Leeds domination. They've just created the game's best chance as well. Mateo Joseph found well at the front post, but his left foot shot a couple of yards wide. Derby 0, Leeds 0.
In the 5:15 kickoff in the Premiership, still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0. That is 4th against 3rd. And if Aberdeen win, they will go back second after Rangers drew 2-2 with Motherwell earlier. And it looks as though Gomez is going to have to be replaced. Liverpool have already got the substitution sorted out. Jarell Quansah is standing by the side of the pitch, Franny. So that's a blow for Gomez, who I feel has done very well when I've seen him, having come in for Konate, and he's limping quite heavily there as he's walking around the pitch.
Yeah, he's clearly struggling with whatever happened, and I just saw a little bit of a clip where I don't think there was any challenge or anything like that. He literally just pulled up, I think, when he was making his way across to close the ball down. It could be a little pull, it might be a little twinge. Hopefully from Liverpool's perspective it won't be too serious for them. But Quansah coming on as a replacement will just slot in like for like.
Yeah, Jarell Quansah into exactly the same position, the right-sided central defender alongside Van Dijk. Just watching Joe Gomez now, he's about to reach the point. He's walking across that maroon tarmac, that wide maroon tarmac with the West Ham badge on it behind the goal, and the Liverpool supporters now greeting him as he walks past, and he applauds back to them. But that looks like a period of time out of the game for Joe Gomez, as West Ham 1-0 down here. Kudus gets the ball back from Paquetá, it opens up, left foot shot, hits the post and bounces across the 6-yard area, and then is played out for a goal kick by Alexander-Arnold. He blasted it into Wan-Bissaka. The width of a post away from an equaliser from the shot from Kudus.
Oh, it certainly was. They're not going to come any closer than that. He does well driving infield, and he's been one of the livelier players for West Ham. It's a left-footed shot, it's low, it's along the grass. It's one of those that, as soon as it hits the post, it could go anywhere, but it goes, fortunately for Liverpool, and Alisson, the ball rolls across the 6-yard box, across the opposite side of the goal, but it gives them yet again some sort of hope that they can get a goal back in this game.
Yeah, the angle that it came off, sort of 45-degree angle, back across the 6-yard box, you know, that was centimetres away from hitting the post and going in. West Ham 0, Liverpool 1. But again there's a spot of encouragement for West Ham, and he's been bright, Kudus, when he's been able to get onto the ball. Problem is, Liverpool have so much of the possession, and yes, you have Paquetá and Kudus and Bowen, but with Liverpool dominating possession, then it's that old story, you know, lots of things change in football, Franny, but one of them doesn't. When you're playing against the best sides and you get opportunities, you have to take them.
Exactly that. Yeah, when they come along, you need that little bit of luck. You know, making the most of those opportunities when they come.
Ball forward from McAllister, now across to Salah. Oh, what a turn! Salah could be in. Gakpo, right foot. That's 2-0. Brilliant turn from Salah in there to roll the defender, and the footwork, the classic Salah footwork. It didn't fall for him to score, but he was able to lay it across the edge of the 6-yard box. And Gakpo was able to tuck it in for his 9th goal in his last 14 appearances to make it West Ham 0, Liverpool 2. And there we are, West Ham hitting the post at one end, and Liverpool seconds later really down the other end. There might be an offside, there might be a question of offside. What do you think?
I think Liverpool, VAR will certainly be looking at the initial pass forward, I think, but you can't take away what a turn by Mo Salah on the edge of the 6-yard box. It was absolutely fantastic. McAllister with the pass through. Is Mo Salah in a position? Is he offside? He wasn't directly interfering with the initial pass. It was Diaz that picked up the ball, played it to Salah, then he did that magical little touch and turn, and Gakpo just slides it in for 2-0.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the confirm. There it is, onside, the goal stands. So first Luis Diaz, now Cody Gakpo, those two are in the goals again, and Mo Salah, the creator this time. But you'll see that on Match of the Day tonight. It's on BBC One late in the evening after the news. The turn from, I think it was Mavropanos, wasn't it, that he was up against. The question I'm going to ask you, Franny, was he did definitely mean that, didn't he?
I had flashbacks to thinking of that Dennis Bergkamp one he
Yeah,
scored.
me too.
That did he mean it or didn't he? But whatever it was, it certainly worked and resulted in a goal as well. It's, he's such a magical footballer, isn't he? And so hard to pick up. He's got that low centre of gravity, the skill, the ability to cut inside. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past him if he did actually mean that one.
Yeah, it was played into him, and he was just outside the 6-yard box. So Mavropanos was there. Salah back to goal, and as it ran, it sort of bounced towards him, and there was a touch. I'm going to need to see that again.
It's definitely one of those ones you need to see a couple of times.
Yeah.
To almost see exactly how he did it.
Sort of a little touch which took it through the legs of Mavropanos, and Salah was round him in a flash. And even though he wasn't able to get the shot in, was able to lay it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and Gakpo said thank you very much.
What it does do, John, is just reinforces the confidence, the belief that this Liverpool side have. The run that they're on is just outstanding. Every time they attack, they almost got that belief that they can score a goal.
And as I say, Kudus hit the post at one end, and now it's 2-0 at the other. As Salah crosses from the right-hand side, Liverpool, just like last week at Tottenham, they are ruthless. They're going for the proverbial jugular here against West Ham. A third goal now would finish this off, and actually would start people thinking about what happened here against Arsenal, as Liverpool attack again into the penalty area, but Diaz was on his toes. But there he is as it runs out into the full-back area. Who gets there first? Diaz ahead of Emerson, and now Salah right side of the box tries to work it back across, and that was deflected down and away by Kilman. But again, Liverpool win the ball back inside the penalty area. The cross all the way across goal, which actually drifted out and then back in, so it's a goal kick to West Ham. But I think one or two West Ham supporters here just saying there, there were a couple of balls in there that they felt West Ham players should be getting to first, but Liverpool are getting there first. And we are now seeing this touch again inside the penalty area. What do you think, this Salah turn?
I just actually missed that replay. I was focusing on the game, sorry.
Here's Jones again though for Liverpool, eyes back on the game. Salah now with a shot. Oh, it's found a win! It's beaten Areola, beaten at his near post. He got a touch to it, he couldn't keep it out, and Mo Salah now makes it 3-0. And Salah reaches yet again, as he has done every season as a Liverpool player, 20 goals for the season in all competitions. The Premier League's leading scorer this season makes it 3-0 to the Premier League leaders.
How do you stop this side at this moment? I don't know if anyone is capable of it. Certainly here today they've been outstanding again, and they win it in West Ham's half. Again, not great play from West Ham, not certainly helping themselves. The ball gets played to Mo Salah. He's a yard inside the 18-yard box, and this time you've got to say Areola's made some very good saves so far in this game, but he'd be disappointed with this one. I think it's down to his left-hand side. It's low, takes a little bounce and goes past him. One of probably the easier goals that Salah will score, almost like gives him the eyes a little bit. Areola's got to do better. He gets a bit of a hand to it, but not enough.
West Ham 0, Liverpool 3. 2 goals in 4 minutes, and as I said, that came almost immediately after Kudus had that chance down at one end. which, you know, with a little more fortune, could have hit the post and gone in. It hit the post and stayed out. However, over the balance of the game that we've seen, Franny, over the course of what is now almost 45 minutes, you know, 3-0 is not a lead Liverpool do not deserve in this match.
No, not at all. The chances they've had, the number of corners they've had, working the West Ham defence, and Areola in goal as well. They've been ruthless, I think is the word. They've been outstanding in this first half.
So again, we are seeing a scene that has been repeated over and over again this season. That inside this stadium, I mean, it was packed for kickoff. Over 60,000 people inside this stadium. Now I can see empty white seats all around the ground, and people are heading for the exits for half time. I would stress. I think most of them will be back in their seats for the second half, but they've gone to head to the stalls and for a break at the very least at half time. 3-0 down, and it does mirror a little what happened here against Arsenal when Arsenal really went to town in the first half.
Yeah, exactly, John. And you know, the home supporters will be wondering where will this game go from here. You know, will there be a reaction at half-time? Will there be some changes that Lopetegui could potentially make to help his team a little bit? But again, just need to be a little bit better in possession. Those little mistakes, errors when Liverpool win the ball back, and that ruthlessness that Liverpool have shown.
Yeah, and Liverpool, they are well on the way to another victory. West Ham with the ball on the edge of the box. Bowen tries the shot. Alexander-Arnold hits the pass downfield. This is for Salah to race onto. Salah's running away with it into the penalty area. Still going. Salah beats Alvarez, then shoots from the angle, but Areola's able to make the save. It was from a very tight angle. He tried to do one of his clever finishes that have beaten so many goalkeepers. Areola was able to get something onto it.
Yeah, did his job, kept him out. But wonderful pass from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Fabulous inch-perfect pass for Salah to run in behind his defender. Alvarez tracked him back, did the best that he could, but Areola on this occasion, standing big, keeping Mo Salah out.
So West Ham 0, Liverpool 3. 5 Live from the BBC. It is still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0, still Derby 0, Leeds 0, and at half-time we will have more from the earlier matches as the ball is played back for Areola, who has to come out into his right back area. He's well out of his goal here, and Robertson's won it back, and now McAllister. Liverpool searching for a fourth goal before half-time, which you would think kill it off as a contest, as Robertson crosses from the left, only half cleared by Kilman, but he got enough on it to take it away from Salah, who's onto this now, turns, faces the penalty area, gives it to Alexander-Arnold. Now Liverpool just knocking it around, going back towards the halfway line. Kwanzaa, the only blot really for Liverpool has been the loss of Gomez to injury. Gravenberch on the edge of the box. Diaz on his right foot shoots, but straight into the back of the defender, Alvarez, who came across. And the ball actually ricocheted all the way back into the Liverpool half. So 3 goals, Diaz, Gakpo and Salah. Today, Nunez on the bench. So the front 3, Franny, Salah, Diaz and Gakpo have all scored, and that is the score at half-time. Listen to this. Boos from the West Ham supporters. 3-0. Julen Lopetegui turns away and stalks down the tunnel. It's been a tough first half of the season for him, but this dream start for his opposite number, Arne Slot, continues. Just no let-up from Liverpool, Franny.
No, they've been ruthless in front of goal. They've just persistently gone at West Ham United, looking for a goal, putting them under pressure. Areola's been forced to make some good saves. He'll be frustrated at the one that Mo Salah slipped past his hand when he could have got a better hand to it and pushed it away. But yeah, you can't take anything away from Liverpool. They've been outstanding, they've looked sharp, but you know, these little fine margins that go either way. You mentioned it, John, in the comms, that, you know, Kudus' shot, if it had hit the post and gone in off the post, who knows where we could be as a contest. But they're certainly going to have to show some belief and sort of courage, I think, in the second half, West Ham United. Otherwise this could really, depending on how Liverpool approach it, be an even bigger scoreline than what we're seeing already. Yeah,
and I noticed that the television cameras have actually focused on the areas around the stadium, outside the stadium in the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, to zero in on some West Ham supporters. It would appear who are indeed heading home at half-time. But Liverpool, they are relentless. In recent matches in the Premier League away from home, scored 3 at Southampton, scored 3 at Newcastle, scored 6 at Tottenham last Sunday, and already here, you would think, on the way to another victory. Half-time, West Ham 0, Liverpool 3.
John, if the Liverpool fans had done that in Istanbul in 2005, they would have missed one of the greatest games of all time. So you need to get them back in there, just in case.
Well, you should. I would say, Ali, as you know me very well. I would never give up on this.
I know.
Plus the fact I'd have paid for it.
Exactly.
Paid to be there.
Thank you, John. John will be back with second half commentary from the London Stadium. Looking a bit grim for West Ham, though. Liverpool in total control, leading by 3-0. Franny Benali alongside John for that one. If Liverpool go on to win the game, they will be 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League table tonight. 8 points clear of Nottingham Forest in second place. A 5th consecutive win in the Premier League for them today. They won 2-0 at Everton. That was our first commentary game of the afternoon. Manchester City are up to 5th in that Premier League table. Their first win in 6 games. They were 2-0 winners at Leicester. Erling Haaland on the score sheet in that one. We'll hear from him in just a little bit. Jurgen Strand-Larsen got an 87th minute equaliser for Wolves at Tottenham. That game finished 2-2. Tottenham 2, Wolves 2. As it did at Craven Cottage, Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2, and Crystal Palace have moved 6 points clear of the bottom 3 in the Premier League. They beat the bottom club Southampton by 2-1. Late kickoff, one of the late kickoffs in the Championship is Derby against Leeds. It started at 5:45. Any goals as yet, Chris Coles?
No goals, but complete Leeds domination. Nigh on 80% possession, but only 2 half chances to show for their efforts. Matteo Joseph, darting run to the front post, left foot shot wide, and former Derby right back Jayden Bogle, the recipient of healthy boos from the home crowd, making good progress into the box. His low cross turned behind. Derby have barely left their own half, but still 0-0. Derby and Leeds, 22 minutes played.
Liverpool 3-0 up at West Ham at half-time. Second half commentary on the way. Before that, though, plenty more reaction to what's happened in the world of football today. That will follow the 5 Live News with Carl Hartley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Alistair. The flight recorders have been recovered from a plane which crashed at Muan Airport in South Korea, killing 179 people. Just 2 on board survived. An investigation into what went wrong is now underway. Officials think it may have been a bird strike. Here, Sir Keir Starmer has offered his deepest condolences to the victims and their families, while the King and Queen say they're profoundly saddened. You can follow the latest developments on the BBC News website. Over news briefly, the Home Office says it's committed to smashing the gangs after 3 migrants died while trying to cross the Channel this morning. French authorities say 45 migrants were rescued after getting into difficulties off the coast a few miles from Calais. And thick fog is continuing to cause problems for another day at Gatwick Airport. Dozens of flights have been cancelled in and out of Gatwick. Temporary air restrictions remain in place due to poor visibility.
The Martin Lewis Podcast.
Each week, of course, it'll all be about trying to save you money.
On BBC Sounds.
Up-to-date information, strategies and help to keep more cash in your pocket and hopefully reduce the stresses too. So whether you want to tackle your debt, build your savings or keep on top of your energy bills, I'll show you how to cut your costs and I'll try to answer your money questions too. All in plain English.
The Martin Lewis Podcast.
Have a listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
With Alistair Bruce Ball.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Remains Derby 0, Leeds 0 midway through the first half in the Championship. Liverpool 3-0 up at West Ham in the Premier League. Second half commentary on the way. Pep Guardiola today celebrated his 500th game in charge of Manchester City with a 2-0 win at Leicester to end that 5-game winless run for City. Erling Haaland was also back among the goals. Afterwards, he spoke to Match of the Day's Guy Mowbray.
Erling, tell us about the goal. Tell us about your reaction to the goal.
Yeah, it was lovely. Great cross and... good header and an important goal and an important win.
We know you love scoring, but I've rarely seen you quite as happy as that when that went in.
No, I'm always happy. So yeah, I was happy today and yeah.
How important was it just to get a win today, no matter how it took, just to get the win?
Yeah, of course it's important and it's want to look ahead now, relax a little bit, and then we go again the 4th. So we keep going.
I know people talk about confidence. Has confidence taken a hit? Because you've always seemed to be pretty upbeat as a group.
Yeah, of course. Confidence is so important in football, and of course you get affected by when this happens to you. But it is what it is. You have to keep going. You have to stay positive, and you have to look at what's next, because it's not a nice feeling to know when you're used to winning games, and this club for the last 10 years to win Premier Leagues, and so it's about to keep going. It's about to stay positive and to encourage everyone around you, and to spread love and confidence.
Love and confidence, that's the key. As for Leicester, that 4th defeat in a row keeps Ruud van Nistelrooy's side in the bottom 3. He also spoke to Guy Mowbray.
Well, Ruud, can you, I know it's hard in the situation you're in, but can you separate performance from result today?
I think we're going to have to. I wouldn't do the players credit if I wouldn't. And of course, we know we're professionals, and it's only about results, so we have to look at the results. But we have to look through the result because of the performance today. I only can give the players credit, and I cannot only judge them on the result.
And when you get over the disappointment of not getting any points from the game, how much confidence will it give you going forward that your players can and will play like that?
It's continuing things. I mean, players on the pitch feel as well how they are playing, how we are pressing, how we are building up, how we are doing our things, and the roles of the individuals. And they are clear, and they are developing, and it finds a structure within the team. I think that's the important thing if you look at it in a development kind of way. But of course we have to be judged on results, and we have to make sure that we translate these performances into results. That's of course a target.
Leicester sitting in the bottom 3. Leicester fans, your thoughts welcome on 6:06 tonight, which will follow the second half commentary of West Ham against Liverpool. The same goes for Nottingham Forest fans, who'll be cock-a-hoop. Their team beat Everton 2-0 at Goodison Park. Here's the Everton boss, Sean Dyche.
Honest assessment is they were better than us at doing the hard yards. They've done it all season, not just to us, to other teams, playing counter-attack football home and away, getting the ball forward early, fight, playing organised. Credit to them, by the way. Just please don't misrepresent what I'm saying. Respect to that, because they do it very, very well, and they've shown that all season. They've got a centre forward I thought was excellent, doing all the hard yards, all the ugly stuff without having the ball all the time, and it makes a difference. And I thought generally they did what they wanted to do very well, and we didn't. We spoke to the players before the game about particularly starting on the right foot, and we didn't. We did all the things that other teams have done against them, which ask for trouble, and they delivered and nicked a goal out of nothing, really. Don't think they had too many chances, and then second half gave away an awful goal, and then 2-0 down, and it's tough against anyone, but certainly a side who have made it clear that they can defend as a unit.
You've had some really, really good results of late. Did you feel today you were lacking a bit of sparkle, if you will?
I think the expectation changes. I think there was an expectation on today, outside and inside, and us building, and we didn't do that. The spark you're on about, you find margins. If Hilly scores early on, he does a brilliant bit of skill, breaks to the edge of the box, flies it over. If that goes in, Jared's got a maybe penalty. If that's outside the box, they give it, and then inside the box, they don't. We all find that a bit frustrating. Similar incident down in the corner. They're maybes, and their maybes need to go your way. They didn't today, but we didn't deserve it in the first half. Second half, I thought we did a bit better. We asked more questions. We controlled a lot of the game, but you can't give away silly goals like that. It's a really, really poor goal out of nothing, to be honest.
And can I just ask, with the transfer window about to open, in terms of potential recruitment, is the sort of key area, the attacking area, rather than elsewhere?
It's a pointless question, because I've tried to make it clear before the transfer window comes. There's still rules in place. We still have to be within them, with the guidelines of them, not just us, many other teams. So you can't talk about what we need and how much it's going to cost if you don't know how much we've got to use.
Everton boss Sean Dyche speaking to Gary Flintoff after Nottingham Forest 2-0 win at Goodison Park that moves them up to second in the table. Nottingham Forest fans, the number to dial tonight for 6:06 is 08085 909 693. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will be taking your calls. We've had Chris on the show for a couple of hours earlier on today. Robbie, your turn now. Looking forward to hearing from those Forest fans tonight. What a season.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from Chris Sutton. He's a massive Forest fan, as we both know. ABB, incredible. His Forest a second. Can they get Champions League football?
What do you think?
What a start to the season.
Can they?
I don't think they will. I think they'll get European football. I don't think they'll quite get Champions League, just not quite yet. ABB, City, good win, Haaland on the score sheet. Was that a bit of relief for Pep? Looking at Liverpool here, 3-0 up away from home. They are a machine under Arne Slot. Quite incredible. Who can catch them? Should we give Liverpool the trophy now, ABB?
No.
What else has happened? Everton heard to Sean Dyche there, sounded... I like listening to Sean Dyche, after 3 fantastic results. That's a bad result for Everton today. Wolves, what a start for Wolves, new manager Vito Pereira. And I've got to say, Chris's Nottingham Forest flying. What about Chris's Spurs? What is going on? Spurs fans, they were, really hot on the phones the last time we were on. I've got to say, no wins in 5. Is that at home now, ABB? Big Ange under pressure.
What's the feeling, Robbie, though, from the majority of the Tottenham fans that you speak to on 606? Are they still backing him? Do they get what he's trying to do?
No, I'll be honest with you. I'm only judging off 606. The majority of Spurs fans who have rung up would have a change. But, as a manager myself, ABB, it's a lonely place. He's a fantastic manager. His record speaks for himself. I can't believe at times they don't change. As a manager, you have to adapt, have to change. I'm pretty certain they won't. But they are in 11th place. No wins at home in 5. It's a bad result today. I know they missed a penalty. But again, Spurs fans... would you like a change? 08085 9096. Oh, Rangers. Coming back from 2-0 down. It's the game against Celtic on Thursday, isn't it? If Celtic win, they take 17 points clear. Wow, what a big game that is. 08085 9096 93.
Thank you, Robbie. Lines are open. Get your calls in. Book them now. That will follow West Ham against Liverpool. Rangers against Celtic. Robbie is quite right. Is on Thursday. That is a 5 live commentary at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. Crystal Palace moved 6 points clear of the relegation zone today. They came from a goal down to beat the bottom club Southampton 2-1 at Selhurst Park. Southampton's keeper Aaron Ramsdale wasn't happy with Palace's equaliser as he felt he was fouled by Jean-Philippe Mateta. Here's what the managers Ivan Juric and Oliver Glasner made of that.
For me, yes. No, I don't know what is in Premier League like, but for me it's a foul. No, absolutely.
I think it's a foul all over Europe, but not in the Premier League. So we were told before the season, that the Premier League football, not every foul, any contact is a foul. This is what made Premier League the number 1 in the world, and this is what everybody is proud of. And I think we try to use the rules for our advantage, like every single team is doing it. So I think it's not a foul in the Premier League.
Liverpool 3-0 up at West Ham. I can see those Liverpool players in their black change kits getting ready in the tunnel there to come out for the second half. Let's check in at Ali Pally for the Arrows with James Gregg. What's going on?
Well, not a great deal at the moment, Ali. It's very quiet. Punters streaming in and all the various different sorts of outfits. But look, a big box office evening ahead here at the Palace, and all Welsh, all top 10 affair between former world champion Gerwyn Price and Johnny Clayton. And then the headline act this evening is defending champion Luke Humphries and Scotland's 2-time winner here, Peter Wright, who've had choice words for each other in the run-up to this last 16 meeting. The first match-up is a round 3 match, the last of those, rapid Ricky Evans versus Rob Owen. Some big names will definitely fall tonight. We're into that business end now, aren't we? Who is it going to be? We'll find out over the course of the night here at Ali Pally.
Lines open for 606. Just a reminder one more time of the number to dial, 08085 909 693. Tomorrow night, full commentary on Ipswich against Chelsea. It kicks off at 7:45. We'll have updates on Aston Villa against Brighton and Manchester United at home to Newcastle, which kicks off at 8 o'clock. We've mentioned the Old Firm game on Thursday. 3 o'clock kick-off, full commentary from Ibrox. And Brentford-Arsenal on New Year's Day kicks off at 5:30. That is also a 5 live commentary, 5:30 on New Year's Day. Time to get back to the London Stadium. Looks like West Ham are going to make a change or two, John Murray. Liverpool leading by 3-0. Johnny's alongside Franny Benali.
Yes, thank you very much, Ali. Welcome everyone back to the West Ham Stadium. Certainly Todibo is going to come on, the French international central defender, Jean-Claire Todibo, and I think Alvarez is off, and Fulkrug is also coming on, so a double change for West Ham. I've not seen the number go up to indicate who Fulkrug is going to come on to replace. So Vladimir Coufal has made way at the back, and Fulkrug now trotting onto the field. He had that long period out with injury during his first season, the German international, but he is now onto the field. There's the whistle from Anthony Taylor, and Liverpool kick off in the black shirts, black shorts and black socks with the white numbers. West Ham in their claret and blue shirts, white shorts and white socks, and it is Edson Alvarez, who is the other player who has gone off. So Fulkrug and Todibo are on, and it does now look as though, yes, West Ham playing with 3 central defenders, so Todibo has dropped in there. So that's what Lopetegui has done, Francis Benali, but I suspect the game has already gone.
Yeah, you certainly would imagine that, wouldn't you? But I was covering a game on Boxing Day where Middlesbrough were 3-0 up at half-time, and Sheffield Wednesday came back to draw 3-3. So it does happen in football, doesn't it? But you've got to say, it would take a huge effort and task to, for West Ham to get back on level terms or anywhere near back into this game. And you wonder how much desire there will be from Liverpool, given the schedule and the workload over the Christmas and New Year period, how much they'll be really going for more goals.
As Liverpool play for Salah, who I think was offside. In any case, he shoots, and Areola makes the save, and there's no flag. Well, I have to say, I could have sworn that Salah was in an offside position when it was played through to him, but he took it on, Salah, and forced Areola to make the save. And you know what? He was onside. There was a defender over on the far side playing him on. So an important save from Areola to prevent it going to 4-0.
Well, exactly as you described it there, John. For a moment, I thought, well, that's a clear and obvious, but he was on. One West Ham defender slowly coming out, playing him on, and it was a good save.
As the corner is played in from the left-hand side for Liverpool, and the referee spotted a foul and had given a free kick to West Ham. And actually the Salah body language kind of suggested that he thought that he was in an offside position.
It did. There was no real urgency, was there? And even that sort of reaction from the crowd in the stadium as well. Normally you get, certainly the team with the opportunity, their supporters get to their feet and make some noise, but even the Liverpool supporters thought, well, that's probably going to be an offside, so why stick it in the back of the net?
So with those 2 changes, as West Ham actually bring the ball forward with Soler, who plays it through for the run from Wan-Bissaka, who rolls it across for Kudus, who shoots over the top of the bar, but I think the offside flag did go up on this occasion against Wan-Bissaka, so it's a free kick to Liverpool.
Yep. The officials getting that one right, I think, on that occasion, or they're right on both occasions, but I think those Lopetegui's had to do something, to try and help his side, and making a couple of changes, bringing on Fulkrug up front, and Bowen going into probably a more familiar right-sided role will hopefully help the home side.
Yeah, so it is as the ball's played through, but for Liverpool, but Areola's able to come out and pick up. So 3 central defenders now, Kilman, Todibo and Mavropanos. So Wan-Bissaka is now across to the other side, with Coufal going off, Wan-Bissaka playing as the right wing back, Emerson as the left wing back, then Soler, Pakata, Kudus, Bowen and Fulkrug. So Liverpool, having had to make the change in the first half with Gomez going off with what looked like a muscle injury of some sort, Kwanzaa coming on for him, so Liverpool with Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk and Robertson, then Gravenberch with Jones and McAllister, and then the front line of Salah, Diaz and Gakpo, who have all scored. Salah now 20 for the season, and that is also his 13th goal in all competitions against West Ham, and he might be in for number 14 now. Receiving the ball on the right side of the penalty area, shoots, but rather wildly by his standards, with Todibo coming across, hit it well wide of the goal, 5 or 6 yards, and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, a little uncharacteristically sort of wild finish from Mo Salah in that position, the kind of position when he gets squared up 1v1 against the defender, where you imagine him sort of cut back on his left foot, but he tried taking the shot on his right foot, and it went well wide of the near post of Areola.
In answer to the other question, how many West Ham supporters have come back to their seats? Well, I would say there are hundreds now of empty white seats dotted around the London Stadium here, where supporters have not come back after half-time with their team 3-0 down at the break. Liverpool coming forward again. Jones forward, it deflects to Salah. He's still 30 yards out. There's space over there for Diaz, and Salah plays it into his path. They shoot straight into the legs of Mavropanos, and Bowen will run it away. I think he might have been fouled by McAllister. Yes, Anthony Taylor says that is a free kick, and Bowen is down on the ground, and it's a free kick for West Ham.
Yeah, and you rightly say, a number of those empty seats, a number of the supporters felt that they've seen enough this afternoon, but there's still that work rate from Liverpool. It seems to be a half-decent sort of challenge, a genuine attempt to win the ball. Certainly no malice. I think Bowen's reaction to the tackle maybe slightly exaggerated. I'm sure it'd be fine to continue carrying on, but Anthony Taylor awarding a free kick to West Ham. They just need to step things up a little bit with these changes. That Boxing Day game, I said that Ward saw 3-0 down, the team coming back from 3 down. They got an early goal, and that's what West Ham need.
Soler gives it to Kudus, left-footed ball, but that's beyond the run of Wan-Bissaka, who is racing in down the right flank, but well beyond him, and bounces through for a goal kick. I was going to say, Franny, this is actually quite bold now, isn't it, by Lopetegui, having seen his team go 3-0 down at half-time. He's got Soler and Paquetá as the 2 central midfielders, and he's still got Bowen and Kudus and Fulkrug on the field.
High up. Yeah, it is brave, but he couldn't have got much worse, I guess, in the first half. So he's clearly rolling that dice, thinking, well, let's give it a go.
Yeah, he's kind of looking to fight fire with fire, but that could actually backfire. Let's see what happens. Kudus, 10 yards inside his own half, just rolls it back to Emerson, knocks it across the back line to Todibo, who's come into the action. Todibo, who is 24 tomorrow. Notice that Alexis McAllister celebrated a birthday this week, a Christmas Eve birthday. And I think you might have a birthday around about now as well, am I right in saying?
You are right, John. Yeah, I didn't realise, but Todibo and I share the same birthday as well.
There we are, so happy birthday for tomorrow. Here's Kudus. Kudus getting the ball down into the penalty area, blocked by a defender in the box, comes out, Soler couldn't get there. And Curtis Jones is able to get it down and turn and play it away out towards the far side, but that's given away, although Gakpo, one of the Liverpool goal scorers, is able to recapture possession for Liverpool. You share a birthday with Todibo, I share a birthday with Diogo Jota, who's on the bench for Liverpool. Here is Salah on the right-hand side. Salah skips away from the challenge from Emerson and then just flicks it back towards Gravenberch, and then McAllister, and then square again to Jones, who made his England debut in November. One of that actually quite long list of players, 8 of them, who Lee Carsley gave an England debut to during the course of his 6 matches this autumn. Did very well as well. Alexander-Arnold curling the ball into the box. Areola comes and gets a rather unconvincing punch on it. I think he nearly misjudged it, and in the end it skewed away off his fists over into the right back area, where it bounced out of play for a Liverpool throw. You've just switched on to us on 5 Live. West Ham 0, Liverpool 3 on this Sunday evening here, this dry but cold Sunday evening at the West Ham Stadium, with Alexander-Arnold shooting for goal, and that either had a big bend on it or took a deflection. It totally wrong-footed Areola and flew past him into the West Ham net. Alexander-Arnold scores from distance, his first goal for Liverpool this season, and it's West Ham 0, Liverpool 4. And his Liverpool players gather round him in front of the Liverpool fans, actually, who are making it very clear to him they would love to see him stay in a Liverpool shirt.
Well, we know the quality he possesses going forward with the deliveries and things he can put into the box and picking out his teammates, but he's central in the middle of the pitch, and this time he just has a strike that wouldn't really trouble Areola normally, but I think it just takes a little deflection.
Kilman, I think
it's Kilman, is it? Yeah, the strike, he almost like reacts, tries to get something on it. It's the slightest little touch off the side of his head, and it wrong foots Areola. Nothing he can do with the change of movement. But this could be a long run-in for the remainder of the game for not just this West Ham team and Lopetegui, but the supporters as well. Yeah. 4-0 Liverpool.
And this might turn out to be a record win for Liverpool away from home against West Ham. They have had a couple of 4-0s away over the years, over the many decades, but their record win is actually 5-1, so a 4-goal margin is the record win for Liverpool away from home against West Ham. Currently, West Ham 0, Liverpool 4. BBC Radio 5 Live. West Ham supporters, the lines will be open. If you are one of those West Ham fans who has left early, the lines are open for 606 tonight. The last chance to call Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton in 2024. So 085 909 693 or text 85058. West Ham trying to mount a comeback. Here's Bowen on the right side, but in comes the challenge from Robertson. The ball bounces away and Robertson's able to go to ground and slide it out for a throw down the right-hand side.
And to show how well Liverpool have done this season, John, they've scored in every single one of their games in all competitions now, apart from that 1-0 defeat against Nottingham Forest earlier in the season. So they've got goals in this team throughout the side. They're confident, they've got belief, and it's no surprise to see them comfortably winning this game here today.
Yeah, 4-0 it is now with power to add, although West Ham with Emerson and the thing for West Ham and Lopetegui, you know, having already been well beaten here by Arsenal in the last few weeks, you know, he does not need for this to become 5-6. And with Liverpool in this sort of mood, you know, we talked, didn't we, at half-time, Liverpool play Manchester United next Sunday. 5 Live, the place to listen to that, by the way. That is a 4:30 kick-off next Sunday afternoon. So they don't play now until next Sunday, but they do have a packed schedule in January, and actually Arne Slot is going to make a couple of changes, and Diogo Jota and Wataru Endo are going to come on, so he is going to make a couple of changes. Just McAllister is actually down at the moment, so is Bowen, and West Ham do not need an injury to their captain, Jared Bowen, and yes, actually the changes here. Gravenberch is being withdrawn now, one of Liverpool's players of the season, so without question, Franny, that is to give him a breather.
Most definitely, you know, no surprise whatsoever. You know, wouldn't have been surprised to see it at 3-0, let alone Liverpool now being 4 up, given those players that have been playing a lot of minutes a chance to get some recovery in their legs, an opportunity for players that haven't played so much, especially Jota coming back from injury, a quality player again. But as you touched on there, worryingly for West Ham's perspective, they won't want an injury to Jared Bowen at all, on top of their woes already. This schedule, maybe coming back to the Gomez injury in the first half, John, that could have been something, just a little twinge or a tweak, a little pull he might have done, a muscle injury. Just with the workload of games that they're playing in the competition this time of year, it takes its toll. It just needs a little breakdown in the muscle to sort of set some players back, an extra stretch, overreaching for a ball. It could be the slightest innocuous kind of thing. So any opportunities that the managers are going to get to make these changes, they're going to do it where and when they can.
Well, the hugely popular Jared Bowen has got to his feet. He's walked off the pitch on the far side, but I think he is going to continue. He has started every match in all competitions for West Ham this season, and yeah, I think he is going to come back onto the field. 2 goals in his last 4, including the winner against Southampton, which was the 100th league goal of his career, and he's just waiting to get the signal to come back on. So West Ham are playing with 10 men at the moment, so Gakpo, the other player, to go off. So Diaz is now on the left-hand side with Jota through the middle, as you said, Franny. Jota, having come back from his injury, this is the 5th consecutive match that he's come on as a substitute, hasn't started since he came back. Poor distribution from Mavropanos, but West Ham are fortunate here in that it bounces off Andy Robertson and through for a goal kick. So 4-0 to Liverpool remains the score, and actually they are going to make a change now, and probably thinking similarly, West Ham, with the challenges that are to come. Even though Bowen is back onto the field, Julian Lopetegui doesn't want to take any chances with him, so Crescencio Somerville is going to come on to replace the West Ham captain. So it is 4-0 to Liverpool here. It is still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0 in the 5:15 kick-off in Scotland. And what's the latest between Derby and Leeds, Chris Coles?
It is still Derby 0, Leeds 0 here as well, John. We've reached half-time. Leeds the better side, but not particularly creative despite all the possession. 2 Joseph efforts and an Aronson volley, one wide, one saved and one wildly over. Derby offering next to nothing going forward, but they'll be the happier with the score at Derby 0, Leeds 0.
Lines are open for 606 08 085 909 693 as Crescencio Somerville comes on, the former Leeds man, player of the season in the Championship last year, as West Ham dicing with danger, playing the ball out from the back. Liverpool are all over them, but they are able to work it away very nicely. Paquetá goes down. I'm not sure how much contact there was on him from Endo, but Paquetá went down. I have to say, casting a slightly cynical eye, I thought he'd lost the ball there, but he went down and he's got the free kick from Anthony Taylor. Yeah, we see players just any minimal contact now. A lot of players go to ground and get given that kind of decision from the officials, but it was a beautiful bit of play from West Ham. One of the few occasions we've really seen them popping the passes round. Here is Somerville, who showed last season what a good player he could be. Somerville playing it back, and West Ham with the ball inside the Liverpool half, as Todibo has to make ground to his right to take the ball again. So West Ham 4-0 down here, and that's a poor ball forward that bounces for Jota, and Jota is able to run it away. It's 4 against 3 for Liverpool. Salah now right side of the box, couldn't find the pass through the middle to Jones. It was too close to Areola on the edge of the 6-yard box, who was able to drop on it. Just the final pass, wasn't it, from Salah, that just needed that little bit of quality to find his teammate Curtis Jones, and it would have been 5, pretty certain, the position that they were in. Catching West Ham on a counter-attack again, yet again, losing possession in their own half, causing their own problems, West Ham. Liverpool again find the pass through to Jota. Jota stabs it past Mavropanos. It runs down into the full-back position. The Liverpool man gets there first. He gives it back to Diaz. Diaz trying to find a position. He plays it back outside the penalty area to McAllister, but McAllister's with Paquetá next to him. Actually chooses the option of Van Dijk closer back towards the halfway line. Yes, I think, you know, I think there's an acceptance here with the substitutions that we've seen at this very, very busy time of the season. It's entirely possible that it might end like this, but we'll see. Liverpool, as Jones does well. You know, he impresses me, Curtis Jones, every time I see him. And he turns here under pressure, keeps the ball, gives it to Diaz now. Jota's available. Diaz will play it back centre of the field to Endo, who's come on for Gravenberch. He's playing in the same role. He can play in central defence or in that midfield anchor role, and you never know, Liverpool might need him there in the latter part of the season. But Liverpool here with this 4-0 lead, currently on course to extend their lead at the top to 8 points going into the new year, or at least Arsenal have to play, of course, on New Year's Day. We will have more Premier League commentary for you tomorrow night, Ipswich against Chelsea, so all of the matches tomorrow night we'll have coverage of them. Manchester United at Newcastle, but Ipswich-Chelsea 7:45 is our commentary match, and then on New Year's Day, on what is another busy programme of football, we'll have all of the matches up and down the country covered during the course of the afternoon. And then the first Premier League match of the new year, Brentford-Arsenal, 5:30 New Year's Day, is a 5 Live commentary. Endo passing the ball forward from inside his own half for Jota to run onto this, takes it into the area, then he plays it back outside the box to Robertson. Robertson then back to Jota. Jota, it's a packed penalty area now. Robertson plays it through via a deflection, but West Ham are able to scramble it away, although Robertson beats Salah, but then shoots from 23, 24 yards wildly over the top and into the West Ham fans behind Areola's goal. Yeah, not the most precise of shots that we'll see from Liverpool all day, and Andy Robertson on that occasion, but West Ham doing a little bit better there, a little bit more determined and getting closer to the Liverpool players in and around the 18-yard box. Need to continue doing that, otherwise they could really sort of fall behind to another goal. We know how dangerous Liverpool are, and what is impressive about Liverpool when they do go forward, not just the quality they have, but they get 4 or 5 players or more in the box. It gives them a great opportunity to pick out one of those sort of numbers when you're getting that many players forward. Yeah, just carry such a threat, don't they, from all areas. as Alexander-Arnold then goes back towards the halfway line, and Liverpool back in possession. The score, if you've just switched on, West Ham 0, Liverpool 4, and we've still got 25 minutes to play. McAllister receives it through the middle, tried to slip it past Todibo, but he stuck out a right leg and was able to cut out the pass, and Todibo now actually carries it forward and does well. Still going over the halfway line, he uses Somerville, and little Somerville now, the number 7, into the Liverpool penalty area. He's forced wide by Kwanzaa and goes down as the Liverpool defender leaned into him, and he went sprawling down there and slid off the pitch. Shouts from the West Ham supporters. Anthony Taylor not interested. Liverpool now breakaway down the other end. Alexander-Arnold, Salah's in the box, left foot curler, oh, just over. That was not far away from a second Salah goal.
How many times have we seen him cut inside like that and just the ball nestle in the far corner or in the top corner? But the action point for the home fans was at the opposite end of the pitch. Somerville driving forward. He does well to drive at the touchline. There is contact. You can see maybe why he's gone to ground, and there's a big appeal from the players and the supporters. But Anthony Taylor's right on top of it, decides not to give it. No decision and no outcome at either end of the pitch.
Yeah, and I think that comes back again into the category, doesn't it, Franny? If the referee says no, that's VAR are not going to overturn that. Not with it as it is. West Ham 0, Liverpool 4. 5 live from the BBC, and Liverpool with Indo, but too many claret and blue shirts there along the edge of the West Ham box. So Kudus has it just inside the Liverpool half, exchanging passes with Paquetá, who is promptly dispossessed by Jota, and then the ball is played forward by Diaz to Salah now on the right-hand side. Salah turns, looks for the arriving Alexander-Arnold, square from him to Diaz. Poor touch, actually, it bounced up after the Diaz touch, but he's won it back illegally with a foul against Soler, and a frustrated Diaz grasps the bouncing ball and bounces it down into the turf and throws it over his head for West Ham to take the free kick.
Do you know what, John, I hate to say it, but there was some pointless passing going on between Paquetá and Kudus, almost just playing the ball between one another. Kudus picked the ball up, he could have drove forward, he could have been more positive. They just decided to turn back and play it between one another 3 or 4 times, and then when they lost possession, the West Ham fans will not be pleased that when the defenders were having to defend and do their job, Kudus is just walking back, no effort whatsoever.
That will not go down well with West Ham supporters, Franny. You'll have played.
You've got to at least give everything out on the pitch, John. If they've got to walk off losing 4-5-0 or more, whatever it'll be, at least walk off the pitch having given everything. That's the very least that you've got to give and show the supporters.
You'll have played often, I would have thought, over the years in front of West Ham supporters. Back into the Upton Park days, yeah. And you know, they demand that. Well, all supporters demand that.
It's a minimum given, isn't it? What you should be doing, but exactly. That's all supporters want to see. They'll live with that.
Oh, lovely play there from Jota. Flicked it over his own head, gives it to Salah. That's a lovely ball back to Jota. If he'd been able to find a pass over there to Diaz, that could have been a brilliant goal if that had continued to flow in the way that it did.
Yeah, they're fabulous footballers, aren't they? They've got great ability, and with that belief in the run that they're on as well, it's no surprise.
Confidence.
Yep, the confidence. It makes such a huge difference. It must be great playing at the back, you know, like sort of centre halves for Liverpool. When you dominate games like this, you can almost barely break sweat. Just reading the game, watching your teammates attacking, scoring goals.
As Soler, it's a long pass that is over the top of Alexander-Arnold, so Somerville behind him has got the ball down and he's running at Alexander-Arnold and then lays it off to the edge of the box where it's curled in by Paquetá, but too close to Alisson and the Liverpool goalkeeper, the bearded Liverpool goalkeeper, all in yellow with those sort of under stockings that he wears in the winter months, and that's very much where we are. He's able to take the ball down and give it out for Liverpool. West Ham 0, Liverpool 4. Lines are open for 606 08 085 909 693 to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0 remains the score at Tannadice. Also Derby County 0, Leeds United 0. And mention of Leeds, Makes me think that we will have lots of coverage the weekend after next. It's the second weekend in January, isn't it? The FA Cup, third round, so listen out for that. Lots of commentaries over the course of those few days. Liverpool will be playing Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup. That is one of our commentaries on the Saturday at 12:15. Ian Rush's telephone will be inundated with requests, I would have thought, in the build-up to that one.
Yeah, there's some great ties in there, great competition as well for teams and supporters, and West Ham will be visiting Aston Villa as well, so another difficult game for them.
Yes, here is McAllister, but couldn't find the pass on the edge of the area, passed it straight to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka gets it back, but he's been dispossessed, and now Liverpool with Jota into the penalty area, runs away from Diaz, but then in comes the challenge by Kilman on Jones. Back out to Liverpool again. Salah curling it in, teasingly left-footed. Areola comes, gets the punch. Jota now with a shot. That's a good save by Areola in the midst of all that as well. And West Ham are able to clear it away downfield, preparing another substitute. I see Andy Irving is going to come on into the West Ham midfield. West Ham 4-0 down. Kudus now out towards the right flank to Paquetá, plays it back to Kudus, who rolls in field, but that's a good strong challenge from Endo to take the ball away from Kudus. And Liverpool have got possession again inside their own half. Yes, this is going to be change number 4 for West Ham, for Julian Lopetegui, and Liverpool also going to make another couple of changes. Harvey Elliott is going to come on. He's another one who's missed a large part of this season through injury, and Kostas Tsimikas as well, who has had spells out. So more changes, just as you thought, Franny, and it is the time, isn't it, to make the changes if you can.
It is, John. No surprise whatsoever. Both managers doing so, and this will probably be an opportunity next break for both sides to make those changes.
Yeah, which increases the feeling that it's entirely possible that this game might peter out, and certainly Liverpool have got it won. Not the thrills and spills of last weekend, the Tottenham-Liverpool match, but actually, having been there, that was also a game that Liverpool were always going to win, despite the way that Tottenham came back in that match. Liverpool were always
in control, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. So 4-0 it is. The last 3 matches that I've commentated on before this have been 3-4, 1-5, 3-6, and now 0-4. It's like going back to the 50s.
Oh, you're the man to follow the goals, John.
Here's Soler through the middle, a flick back on the edge of the box from Füllkrug, that couldn't return it into the path of Soler. He's very much the lone striker, Füllkrug, isn't he, since he's come on as a substitute. And we will now see the changes being made. So West Ham 0, Liverpool 4, still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0, still Derby 0, Leeds 0, and Andy Irving is going to come on, the Scotsman, who's had a circuitous career route, is going to take the place of who's coming on. Oh, he's left the field. Actually, he's walked off nowhere near the halfway line, and there were cheers there that Soler, who I'm not sure could have been fully fit, Soler having picked up the injury at Southampton, so Irving comes on to replace him. And remember, West Ham today, it should be underlined, have been without the suspended Souček and Rodriguez, and Andy Robertson and Curtis Jones, the 2 Liverpool players who've been replaced by Tsimikas and Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, good opportunity for players to get some minutes in their legs and help the teammates in the squad, that little bit of rotation. Oh, it's a good breakaway down the left from West Ham. Emerson
into the penalty area away from Alexander-Arnold, crosses it to the near post, but as he was falling, he was off balance, and he just lifted it across into the arms of Alisson, who again very coolly just sort of walked forward, a couple of steps forwards, and said thank you very much. And
he's had a quiet afternoon, hasn't he?
Quiet afternoon. I don't think he's made a save, has he? Oh, he
one
caught
from
that,
the header, was it?
From the Paquetá
If
header.
you could class that as a save.
But it was sort of a weak glancing effort that he caught very easily. Wan-Bissaka now forward to Kudus, who's going to run at Tsimikas, still going, running from right to left, clips it across the box. Somerville gets it down, Alexander-Arnold half a touch, and then sent it by Somerville, but Füllkrug couldn't get a touch to force it goalwards, and Liverpool were able to get it away. Liverpool will be furious here if they don't keep a clean sheet in this match. As here they come again, and the header hits the crossbar from Kudus. A lovely curling ball in from the left-hand side onto the head of Kudus. But
may have been offside.
Offside flag.
May have been offside, and Virgil van Dijk saw him standing with his arms out. I'm not quite so sure it's about the referee's decisions, but maybe his Liverpool teammates just saying, come on guys, exactly as you say, John, we want to keep a clean sheet here today. But one of the bright moments wouldn't have come to anything if it had been offside, but West Ham United still just trying to plug away, salvage some kind of pride if nothing else.
So it is West Ham 0, Liverpool 4, with 15 minutes to play plus added time before we hand things over to 606, round about 7:15, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. So 08085 909 693 if you're on your way back from one of the many matches up and down the country today on this Sunday afternoon. They would love to hear your call. Liverpool, Alexander-Arnold through to Salah, who brings it down and then shoots over, left-footed from 13-14 yards out, brought it down brilliantly with one foot, but on the left foot hit it over the bar on the half volley.
Well, Mo Salah is smiling, but I don't think he's going to be very happy. It was a wonderful pick out from Alexander-Arnold. He picks him out in the middle of the goal. It's a fabulous touch, but then his shot is high over the bar. He's just got to hit the target and you think it would be another goal. Rubbing his hands on his head. Can't quite believe it.
Yeah, rather like Tottenham last week when they scored 6 and could have scored many more. Liverpool have scored 4 and could have scored many more here today. Any sign of the first goal though in the Championship and the 5:45 kick-off with you, Chris Coles?
We very nearly had it, John, in the opening 2 minutes of the second half. The best chance of the game falling to Leeds. Brendan Aronson, the beneficiary of a couple of ricochets in the box, 7 yards out, shot on the turn. Zetterstrom in the Derby goal, making a good save to his left. Derby 0, Leeds 0.
West Ham 0, Liverpool 4, and Liverpool, here's Irving, who plays it for Somerville, and West Ham though going back to towards the edge of their own penalty area, and now very clearly many more seats, empty seats, and it's been a feature actually here at the West Ham Stadium this season, are being emptied as West Ham do come forward. Fulkrug, and then Kudus, and a cross for Wan-Bissaka on the stretch, who was 7 yards out near the back post but couldn't direct it on target. That was a chance for a West Ham goal.
Certainly was, John. Positive break from West Ham United. I'm not quite so sure if it was a cross from Kudus. I think he's trying to get a bit of a shot away in on target, but it looped up, sort of sliced off his boot a little bit to Wan-Bissaka. And again, the story of the afternoon for West Ham United, they just couldn't find that bit of quality or that quality of touch to score a goal.
Yes, it's going to leave West Ham this in the bottom half of the Premier League, and it will be a 5th home defeat in the league this season. So that is 5 out of 10 home matches played. So they lost half of their home matches. That's why it has been a feature here this season that the supporters have not been staying on to the end of the match. And actually, yeah, I know things fell away last season in David Moyes' last season as the manager, but this time last year, as an offside flag goes up against Kudus, again more frustration and disappointment for the West Ham supporters. At the halfway stage last season, West Ham were up in 6th with 33 points. Here they are now. The West Ham supporters wanted something different. They wanted a bolder, more exciting approach. Lopetegui was chosen as the man to be their manager, and they will be halfway through their Premier League season after this. 19 matches played, and it could be a lot better.
Yeah, most definitely. It was a poor start to the season, wasn't it? And although there's been some glimmer of hope and those unbeaten in the last 4 coming into today's game, it's just not really the excitement that the supporters want to see here at the London Stadium. And as you rightly say, John, there's many of them that have voted with their feet this afternoon by leaving the game early.
I see that Luis Guilherme is going to come on as well, a rare appearance from him. Alexander-Arnold crossing from the right, and that comes off Emerson and bounces behind for a Liverpool corner. 10 minutes to play, just over that. This for the Brazilian teenager, Luis Guilherme, will be just his 3rd appearance for the West Ham first team, but not yet. Liverpool have got this corner that Alexander-Arnold is going to take. He's one of the Liverpool goal scorers, although it took a big deflection off the, I think the head, wasn't it? Certainly the upper body of Kilman on its way past Areola. So Alexander-Arnold to take this corner, outswinger from the right-hand side. Here it is to the edge of the 6-yard box. West Ham were able to head it up and away. Then it's steered back by the head of McAllister to Alexander-Arnold. Left-footed cross this time from the Liverpool right-back. Headed away for West Ham. Comes out for Tsimikas. Tsimikas, who's playing his 100th match for Liverpool here this afternoon. He's another one who's never scored for Liverpool, actually. Tsimikas, we were talking about Joe Gomez in the first half with Francis Benali, who scored just the one goal in his senior career. Sitting next to me here, Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold in possession. Little ball in field, McAllister was onto that. West Ham have got two men chasing him. McAllister goes down and wins the free kick out on the right-hand side. Another chance for a set piece for Liverpool, but West Ham are going to make this change first. And Kudus, who's coming off the field. Yeah, there is an ovation for him. He was one of the better players in the first half.
He was, John. I was just about to say that, one of the brighter performances from West Ham's perspective, but I touched on it in the comms a little bit earlier. Whenever I see a player, losing possession of the ball in the middle of the pitch and then literally just walk back, watching his teammates defend, putting no effort in whatsoever to try and help out, doesn't sit well with me, I'll be honest. But he certainly comes to life when he's got the ball at his feet.
4-0 Liverpool, and Tsimikas is going to take this set piece. It's level with the edge of the penalty area in the West Ham left back area. Tsimikas high and deep towards the back post. That's headed away by Wan-Bissaka. Comes out to Diaz, who just further the halfway line, finds the pass to Elliott, and then Diaz takes it up again and sets off on a run from inside his own half. Beats the first man, chips it through to the edge of the box. Van Dijk's still up there, and Van Dijk shoots, and it's saved by Areola. Van Dijk turned into Luis Diaz on the edge of the box, onto his right foot, went for the curler, but too close to the goalkeeper.
Well, the touch and the movement was very alike his forward teammates, wasn't it? But he just couldn't find the quality on the finish. There's a good little touch, cuts inside, shoots right-footed, trying to find the far corner.
West Ham now breaking forward. Somerville down at the other end, and then it's landed into the path of Emerson. Emerson, left-footed cross, too close to Alisson, who actually opts to punch. I thought he might have caught that. Headed by Somerville, back to Paquetá, and then Somerville again, who has brought a certain brightness, I would say, to the West Ham play since he's come onto the field. And then actually, as I say, that concedes a foul, slides in on Endo, and it's a free kick to Liverpool near the edge of their own box. I must mention as well, before the match today, it was quite emotional actually. The great West Ham goalkeeper, who was enormously popular when he played here for 8 years, Ludek McCloskey, was on the pitch and taking the applause of a packed West Ham stadium, and he was such a favourite here, cult hero actually. He had that sort of status, and coming back here because he's had cancer for the last 3 years, but as he says, has taken a decision now to withdraw from further treatment, and he came here today to catch up with old friends. He calls West Ham his second family, and it was a really emotional ovation that Ludek McCloskey received on the pitch before the match. As Liverpool break forward with Salah, oh lovely feint from him to take it away, and then plays it to Jota, and Jota scores and makes it 5-0. It's now a record score for Liverpool away from home against West Ham. 5-0. All the work of Salah there, brilliant from him. That little change of direction in the centre circle, running at the West Ham defence, and then just laid it into the path of Diogo Jota, who made it West Ham 0, Liverpool 5, and now hundreds, possibly thousands more West Ham supporters get up and leave.
Well, what a run from Mo Salah. He picked it up in his own half to begin with, in the centre circle. Then he dribbles. The way he glides past him, it's almost like a Lionel Messi kind of type dribble. The ball was almost stuck to his feet. No West Ham defenders able to get near enough to him or put a challenge in, and then the setup, the pass for Diogo Jota is perfect, and he replies and responds from the quality of Mo Salah by burying it into the far corner of Areola's goal. This has been a demolition by Liverpool this afternoon.
The West Ham supporters will say, as you say, Franny, you know, it did have an air of Messi, the way that he ran through the middle. West Ham supporters will be saying, is no one in a claret and blue shirt able to stop him? Sometimes that's easier said than done.
It is, especially under the circumstances and the stage of the game and the way this one's gone this afternoon. But again, coming back to just try and disrupt the rhythm that Liverpool get into at times, put a challenge in, be more aggressive in the way that you run around the pitch and close players.
And now Elliott, as Liverpool look for a sixth goal, and it's cut out on the edge of the box by Kilman, who passes it forward to Somerville, who's able to wriggle away from Endo, and Somerville then runs into trouble on the halfway line and actually is blocked, so it's a free kick to West Ham. So we have a scoreline of West Ham 0, Liverpool 5. 5 different goal scorers: Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and now Diogo Jota. And Salah has created 2 of those, I think. I'm right in saying?
Well, his goals and assists are just incredible, aren't they? You know, what he brings. And as we're talking, John, there's been a clash of heads between Somerville and McAllister. Both players are on the floor receiving treatment as we speak, so it was a little bit of a nasty one. Somerville drove at the Liverpool players literally right on the halfway line, and as McAllister came across to make the challenge, there was that little wince when you see that kind of thing. Clash of heads. Hopefully both players will be okay.
Yep, so they're both receiving treatment. While that happens, let's get another update on Derby Leeds with Chris Coles.
12 minutes into the second half, Derby 0, Leeds 0. It's gone a bit flat as the game. The atmosphere's still loud, but the game a bit flat. Credit Derby for that, who are making more of a contest of it. They've had a half chance, a header from Nat Phillips, a couple of yards over the bar. Derby 0, Leeds 0.
And it is still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0. Aberdeen would go second if they won that, but that will be in the last 10 minutes as well, that match. Still Somerville and McAllister receiving treatment, and just for the record, on Mo Salah having scored one of the goals and set up a couple of the others today, that is now 174 Premier League goals for him, so he's one behind Thierry Henry's total. That's the sort of level that he's at. His 13th goal against West Ham, which extends his own record in this fixture, Liverpool against West Ham in all competitions. It is the 8th season in a row that he's reached 20 goals for Liverpool. He's the first man to do that, 20 goals in a season for 8 seasons in a row. And one thing that he did do today was his goal that he scored in the first half was only the second one that he scored in the first half of a match this season. So it just keeps coming from Mo Salah.
Maybe those stats you want to pass on to his agent, John. I think they should be going in, use that as part of the negotiations.
Just on this, we were talking, Franny, last week when we were at the Tottenham match with Clinton Morrison. I mean, what do you think? In his position, Mo Salah playing like this, he's got the power to add. He might threaten that 44 goal best for Liverpool, but he's out of contract at the end of the season, and he is 32 years old. What should Liverpool do? Think about that for a moment, as West Ham are back in action. Both Somerville and McAllister are okay. They've been checked. They're all right to come back onto the field, but they're both standing actually just off the pitch at the moment. And West Ham have got the ball inside their own half. And all the while, more and more empty seats are appearing around the West Ham stadium. 5-0 down to Liverpool, having already lost 5-1 at home to Arsenal this season. 5-2 it was, wasn't it, in the end? Liverpool coming forward, West Ham losing possession, and they go back towards the halfway line. So what about Salah, Franny?
Well, I think he's doing his talking and his negotiations in some way by what he's doing on the football pitch, John. He's been outstanding. He gives everything. I mean, I remember at Southampton not so long back when he scored one of the goals, he took off his shirt for the goal celebration. You talk about him being 32 years of age. He looks like a 22-year-old. The condition he's in as well, the goals he's scoring. A deal's got to be done. They've got to keep him somehow.
Yeah, but when he scored those 2 goals at your old club Southampton, he did say he was more out than in, didn't he, at the time? But he's just kept
interesting
scoring.
comment afterwards, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Just kept scoring goals, as have Liverpool. So that is now last weekend 6 against Tottenham, then 3 against Leicester in midweek. That's 9. Another 5 today, so that's 14 in 3 matches. They are the top scorers in the Premier League. They were caught by Tottenham earlier, but now have stretched away from Spurs. 46 goals in the Premier League now this season, and they look very, very strong. 4 minutes of time are going to be added on at the end of the match, and West Ham, I must say, look rather bedraggled. They've just not been able to live with Liverpool, but they're not the only ones. Said the same thing about Tottenham last Sunday.
Exactly, no one would want to be facing Liverpool in the form they are at the moment, and you touched on it earlier. It's Man United up next for Liverpool on the 5th of January. It's going to be a rivalry that will be renewed, but United will have their work cut out for sure. Anyone will do it against this Liverpool side the way they're playing at the moment.
Yes, and we've got to see what happens between them and Newcastle tomorrow night. 5 Live tomorrow night. The Liverpool supporters, it's their voices you can hear singing their songs. Confidence increasing all of the time that they might this season be able to win the title for a Manchester United record equaling 20th time. That would be some feat, wouldn't it, in Arne Slot's first season as the manager. West Ham 0, Liverpool 5, and I don't think you can understate what he's done following on from Jurgen Klopp, and because of the fact that so many managers have found it difficult to follow the big acts, yet he has carried on and actually pressed the accelerator. I do wonder though, Franny, watching Liverpool this season, what is this Liverpool team doing that Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool team in the same circumstances wouldn't be doing?
Well, it's a very good question. I mean, you're right in saying how well Arne Slot has done since coming in. It'd be very easy for things to drop away given the success that they had under Jurgen Klopp and the influence that he had at the football club and on the city as well. And Arne Slot himself said in some interviews this week that there's pressure with this Liverpool job and at a club like Liverpool regardless of where you are. So to be taking them on as he has done has been absolutely outstanding.
They'll want a clean sheet. West Ham are coming forward. Somerville, 5-0 the score. A record away win for Liverpool against West Ham. In comes the cross. That's headed away by Tsimikas. Comes out and is stabbed back into the area, but Kwanzaa is just going to allow that to run through to Alisson. We will hear from the two managers. We'll hear from Julen Lopetegui and Arne Slot, all being well during the course of 606. But if you're on the way back from a match, what have you seen that you would like to talk about with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606? 08085 909 693 if you want to talk to them. And highlights on Match of the Day tonight, anytime on the iPlayer. And then the Football Daily podcast will round everything up as it always does. Ball over the top for Jota as Liverpool chase a 6th goal. He's up against Todibo, he's got the ball down, lays it back across, just a little touch away, an important touch away from Kilman. And West Ham are able to survive that latest Liverpool attack, which again looked ominous for them. But yeah, the Football Daily from BBC Sounds, all live BBC radio is there for you to listen to on Sounds, where you can pause, rewind, you can listen back to the commentaries. And actually on Sounds now, I mentioned it earlier in the week, but you can also hear the Desert Island Discs with Gareth Southgate, which is on there now, which I did get a chance to listen to over Christmas and very much enjoyed that. You didn't get a chance to listen to that, Franny, have you yet? As Wan-Bissaka plays it out towards the right-hand side. And a shot whipped in from the right-hand side that takes a deflection, which carried it across the face of goal from the youngster, the teenager, Guilherme, and he's won a corner with the effort.
Yeah, and he did so well, cutting in on his left-hand shot. And I think it was Tsimikas who gets a little touch. No, it wasn't. It was Van Dijk, almost flicking a foot out, and it clips Alisson's right-hand post. Every Liverpool player relieved to see it go wide, but it's a corner for West Ham.
Corner from the left-hand side, which is comfortably headed away at the near post, comes out to Somerville for West Ham. Somerville dancing into the penalty area, wants it on his right foot, goes for the curler, but via a deflection, no, there won't be a corner. there will be a chorus of boos from the West Ham supporters. Those who are still inside the stadium, that is, after the full-time whistle on West Ham 0, Liverpool 5. Well, it is a record win for Liverpool away from home against West Ham, and Arne Slot's Liverpool just go from strength to strength. They stretch their lead to 8 points at the top of the Premier League. 5 goals, 5 different scorers. At the moment, and it should be stressed, I am saying at the moment, they look unstoppable, Francis Benali.
They do. Such an impressive performance again here today. Ruthless in front of goal, keeping a clean sheet as well. We spoke beforehand how good they are at scoring goals, the way that they're racing ahead above anybody else, but they're mean at the back as well. They keep teams out, and that's a great recipe for success. And you've got to say at the moment, they're the team that you've got to find a way of trying to stop. How? I'm not quite so sure, because every single player is on top of their game at this moment.
They are. What about West Ham?
Well, you know, I think that we've seen from the supporters and reaction that we've heard from them today, a lot of work to be done for Lopetegui and his staff and the players themselves as well. They've got some players in there that are bright, that are positive, but they just seem to be lacking something. West Ham, again, don't they, this season? And the supporters, they don't stand for it. Like I say, they can be brilliant when the team are going well, and they can help the team in so many different ways. But when things aren't going well, they're quick to turn as well. So they make their feelings known. Got a lot of work to do, West Ham.
Yeah, that is out of 10 home matches in the Premier League under Julian Lopetegui, who was appointed only last summer by the West Ham hierarchy. That is 5 home defeats out of 10 matches. That's why there are so many empty seats at this stadium. That's why often during the course of the second half here, the television cameras were zooming in on David Sullivan, one of the owners of West Ham United. So 5-0 it finished here. They will still be playing very much so in the Championship between Derby and Leeds with you, Chris Coles.
Certainly are, and no one leaving this one early. Still very finely poised. Derby 0, Leeds 0. Chances starting to flow for both. Nat Phillips from a corner, well saved Ilan Meslier, that for Derby, and for Leeds, Ramazani shot clawed away by Zetterstrom. A significant triple threat coming off the bench for Leeds. Top scorer Joel Pirro, Manor Solomon and Dan James about to be introduced. Derby 0, Leeds 0, 25 minutes to play.
Just checking, they are still playing between Dundee United and Aberdeen, but into added time there, where it is still Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 0. And what about the darts over at Alexandra Palace? You're still there, James Gregg?
I am, John. I barely left, I promise you that. And I'll be here right till the end as well. Tonight, an all-Welsh, all-top 10 affair between the former world champion Gerwyn Price and Johnny Clayton. That's second up. The headline act is defending champion Luke Humphries versus Scotland's 2-time world champion here, Peter Wright. The first match of the evening is a round 3 clash. Rapid Ricky Evans versus Rob Owen. Walking onto the hockey any moment now, actually, in front of another packed house here. Some big names will definitely fall tonight. But who? Updates all night from Ali Pally on 5 Live.
Excellent. Enjoy your night, James. And there is more live sport, by the way, this evening for you from 9 o'clock on Sports Extra. The NFL, Minnesota against Green Bay. And also overnight on Sports Extra. If you're up during the night, it could be a gripping final day in the test match in Melbourne between Australia and India. A friend of mine is over there. He's got a ticket for $10 Australian, which could be fantastic value. Tomorrow night, coverage of all the matches. We'll have commentary on Ipswich against Chelsea from 7:45, and then New Year's Day as well, 5 Live Sport on the air from 2:30. We will have commentary on the first Premier League match of 2025 from 5:30 when Brentford play Arsenal, and Andy Reid will be with me for that. But Francis Benali's been alongside me for the very first time for a commentary today, Franny, which has been a great experience for me, I must say. I've very much enjoyed that. And,
thanks, John. Really enjoyed it.
And just to sum it up, Liverpool looking in such good shape, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, sort of going into the new year, sort of just fully dominant from what we've seen in this first half of the season. Can't see that changing, certainly in the near future, so it's going to take some stopping to sort of try and catch them for anyone below them at this moment in time. West Ham's perspective, got a lot of work to do to get where the supporters want to see their team performing, being dominant here, especially at the London Stadium. And as you touched on, that then puts pressure on the manager Lopetegui and then Sullivan as well as one of the owners.
Very good. Well, happy birthday for tomorrow. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
All
You
your
too.
Christmases are coming at once, aren't they? We will bring you those live interviews if we can during the course of 606 with Julian Lopetegui and with Arne Slot, so listen out for that. Lines open for Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693. Text 85058. Hashtag BBC 606 to get involved in the UK's most popular football phone-in for the last time in 2024. But that is it from us. From the London Stadium, Robbie and Chris will be standing by to take your calls after the news on 5 Live with Carl Hartley.